Hey everybody, this is Guile from the Street Fighter game. This is a 3D model commission that someone had me paint, and I'm kind of proud of the paint job because of two major factors. It's a pretty straight up paint. I mean, the base, is cool. I love it's got the cardboard boxes with the cans of paint, and doesn't have a name tag, which is kind of unusual for some of these kits. And he's got some serious boots and some, I guess you'd call that some kind of a jeans bodysuit type of thing. Obviously a big shirt with rolled up sleeves and a hood, and the signature Guile hair. We'll look at the top of his head to see how I kind of pebble painted that so it has a kind of a texture to it. Got his eye detail in there. Patches, which I did not do as well as I wished I could have with, real magnified graphics, but I did the best I could to make them look good. He's supposed to have a tattoo, he will eventually, I'm sure, here and on his other shoulder. This is an American flag, but I could not procure those in time for the finished kit, and I'm going to let the owner take care of that on his own. He's got to add that, but Guile does have big American flags on his shoulders. He's definitely an American Street Fighter character. That's about all I know about him since I don't play the game. I will say I chromed him up a cool watch. That was a request of the owner. And his little signature butterfly knife style comb, because he is obviously combing his hair a lot. Now, one of the things I did want to point out, which is maybe obvious, is the skin tones, the textures in the skin, the way I did it. I used a new technique. My buddy Greg, that owns Artful Barn here, our local art supply place. Hey Greg, a big shout out to you in the store. If you're a local, if you're in the North Georgia area, go to Artful Barn for your art supply needs. We also have a model club that meets the first Saturday, theoretically, of the month at 6:30, and we'd love to have you show up and come in with your models or whatever. That's the Soquel River Modelers Club. But this guy isn't going to make it this year. The reason being is I've got to ship him to the owner. I just finished him, and we would have had our meeting tonight. It got delayed a week. We would have had it tonight instead of last week. But we're in the middle of a snowstorm and an ice storm, and one or two of our members just can't get out at all, and we can't do it. So let me talk about some things I would have told my buddies about. Now, Greg Kimsey, that owns that store, sent me a link to a YouTube video of a fellow that used a new technique for me and for Greg on doing skin tones. And that is, you paint a base coat of a color on the skin areas. You then come back with a wash of transparent yellow, transparent blue, and transparent red. And what that does is it creates all kinds of little micro textures under the surface. That's just your base. You can then take a toothbrush, do some spattering for pores and freckles and things. You then come back with a single skin tone color and paint over that. That gives you a translucent layering. And again, there's a video. If I've got the means, I'll put the link in there to this video. I'll link to the guy that demonstrates it. His demo is fantastic. And ironically, on a model that both Greg and I painted at the same time. Neither one of us with his technique, but it was very, very informative, so I used it this time. I mean, look what it does to the colors in the hands, and veins and arteries and textures, and like his neck and his skin tones. It's a very cool new technique for me. I can't tell you much more about it. When I've done it a couple of times and I've really got something to show it off with, I'll talk more about it. If I can demo what I do, I will. But in the meantime, this is a new learned technique, and I'm grateful for it because I did not want, the arms and face of this guy to be boring and sort of flat. Like, I don't mind a girl having a simpler paint job, because usually you kind of want an even tone, usually. But on a big old muscle guy, you want all those colors and You know, have you ever looked at a Frazetta painting? You know, I mean, you want to see some color and variation in that skin. So I'm very grateful for the technique coming when it did, and I'm very grateful for that. The other thing I've never done before is jeans of any kind. That's just a blue mixed with a gray and some dry brush of that color mixed with some light gray, dry brushed onto the seams and places. Really wasn't that hard. Bronze on the zippers, things like that. But it's the skin that's the big news this time around. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. He's really powerful and mean. This guy looks like an ape, man. He looks like he just one fist would bust your skull. So I don't know the game, but I'm impressed with this guy. I've been kind of a fan of the girls, which is like namely Cammy and Chun-Li and Juri Han, those, but the guys I don't know that well, and this is the first figure I think I've done of one of the guys from that game. So anyway, that's it. That's all we're going to talk about today. If you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you have not. Comments are welcome, especially in comment about that skin tone technique. If you like, look for the video link and we'll discuss that more in the future. Take care. We'll see you next time.